So I took a long, hard look at where I was going as far as my research trajectory. And I had been reading about DMT. It I don't know exactly how I first heard about it, like the very, very first time I heard about it. Um, but I found out about it. It was a chemical made in the body. It was a psychedelic drug. Not much was really known about its effects, at least at the time, or at least from what I was able to determine. Um, and its relative obscurity was also actually a strong point in my interest in it because not many people knew about it. And I started to put together, at least in my own mind, a circumstantial case for the pineal making DMT. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence that would support um, a pineal site of DMT synthesis. That hasn't been established yet, but that there were enough pieces of the puzzle that seemed to be fitting together that I thought, wasn't totally crazy to presume a pineal site of origin of DMT, which, fit in nicely with my theory that the pineal was somehow involved in naturally occurring mystical states. But there are other places where DMT had been definitively proven to make DMT, such as the brain, red blood cells, and the lung, the liver, maybe the adrenal glands. So, there were proven places in the body where DMT was made, even if the pineal one remained hypothetical. And so, in my thinking about, so the mentor I had at the University of New Mexico who supervised the melatonin work had died. I needed to make some decision as to, well, was I going to study psychedelics or not? I was just getting started in my research career. It was getting to the point that I had to commit. So I thought about it long and hard, talked with friends and colleagues, and decided, I would just go for it. And the drug or the compound or the chemical that seemed like the best candidate to sort of reopen the U.S. Front on psychedelic research would be DMT. It was naturally occurring, and the more I read about it, it seemed like it had seen some popularity as an area of research that people were looking into as a possible, source of psychosis and mental disorders, schizophrenia, for example, because it was discovered in the human blood. So people wondered, well, maybe it was involved in psychosis. And so that was one of its strengths, was it was a naturally occurring compound in the body. And also it had been speculated to have some role in mental illness. It was obscure, which I thought would be a good characteristic of a drug to reopen the U.S. field in research. I thought studying a drug like LSD to begin with would just draw too much attention to what I was doing. And it was very short, it was very brief. The effects were over in an hour or less. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to be doing. I figured the studies would take place in the hospital, and I knew that would be an obnoxious environment for people to take a psychedelic drug. And I wasn't that confident of my ability to manage adverse effects either. I mean, what if somebody just lost it in the hospital under the influence of an 8 to 10 hour drug? So I thought, even though the stories I had heard about DMT were kind of hair-raising, I knew it was over quickly. And no matter how bad the effects were, I thought at the time they'd be over quickly. And you know, if we got into tight spots, they wouldn't last that long. So it was for those reasons I chose to work with DMT, or at least to think about working with DMT.